People often think that patents give people a right to do something, but actually what it gives you is a negative right. It gives you a right to stop others from doing something, from practicing the invention, making it, using it, selling it, and so on. By fashion, we refer to every design-intensive product on the market today. So it's not just apparel. It includes things like footwear and accessories and jewelry and eyewear and even houseware and home products. It's not just the products themselves, but it also includes what goes into the products, what makes up the products. So for example, if we're talking about apparel, it includes the textiles. If we're talking about jewelry, it includes the metalwork, it includes making it, it includes using it in times. And in order to obtain protection in the fashion world, protection requires looking back at the entirety of the creative process. That is, what went into the design, what went into the manufacture, but it also requires you to look forward. So we're talking about how the product will be marketed, sold, and used. Used is a really interesting word here because 30 years ago, probably 40 years ago, products that were in the fashion world were just worn, but now they're actually used, right? They're interactive. You can do things with wearable technology, as an example. So there are utility patents and design patents. Utility patents protect functionality. Design patents protect appearance. Utility patents, the fundamental requirements to obtain a utility patent are that the invention has to be new, which means that it was not disclosed to a patent office anywhere in the world prior to you applying for it. Not obvious, which means that it has to be inventive, if you will, and it has to be useful, meaning that it has to have some function. Patents are limited in the United States. These utility patents are limited to in the United States to human inventions. So machine inventions are not patentable. Courts have excluded certain things, including abstract ideas. Abstract ideas as a big category of things that have been problems over the last 5 to 8 years. The courts have been very, very active on how they define abstract ideas. Actually, they don't define abstract ideas, but they include mental processes, mathematical algorithms, meaning that you have to go past an algorithm in order to obtain patent protection. Design applications the criteria include new, it has to be not obvious, those two are the same, and it relates to ornamental appearance only. And you can obtain, for a particular product, you can obtain both utility and design applications. File for patent application, the process is the same in most countries. This is how it works in the United States. You prepare an application which includes two things. It includes a specification, which is a detailed description of the invention, and it includes claims. The claims define the scope of protection, and they have to be supported by the specification. You submit the specification and claims to a government agency, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which is located near Washington. Once it gets inside the patent office, they send it to what they call an art unit. You can think of this as a department of expertise. So if you have a patent application that's related to a pharmaceutical, it'll go to a group that only looks at pharmaceuticals. If you're submitting a patent application that's related to textiles, it'll only go to a group that looks at textiles. And in that group, it goes to somebody called an examiner. Examiners are lifelong government employees, and they're very focused. So if they work on textiles, they spend 40 years only working on textiles. They don't work on anything else. They do a prior art search to find references that might make your patent application not new or obvious over prior inventions, and then they often issue a rejection. Typically, about 99% of the time they issue a rejection. You have a second shot at it. You can then explain to the examiner why the examiner might have gotten it wrong, or you can change your claims to try to overcome that. The drawings in design patents are the most important thing. The designs have to be clear and articulate, and you can leave nothing to the imagination. You need to have enough views, typically 7, to show what's in the design. Typically, you need a draftsperson doing these things because you need to show surface shading. That's not easy to say very fast. Surface shading to show all of the character and the contour of all of the surfaces, and be able to show three-dimensional aspects of the design. We're going to just talk real quick about the future of the fashion industry, and the example is wearable technologies. So wearable technologies, which could be related to, say, watches or eyewear, or if you think back to Google Glass, smart shirts, things that are wicking, and things that are looking at body functions like sleep. This wearable technology is sort of the bridge between the old-fashioned world where you wanted something to be aesthetically pleasing and also provide a function. So what ends up happening is it's really the convergence of two types of technology. And you have fashion companies who had previously been concerned with appearance and comfort, and technology companies who are looking to try to insert technology into these products. Do they apply to utility patents? Do they apply to design patents? And the answer is they apply to both.